You're not getting the results you want because your mind is working against you. Our mind can be our worst enemy or our greatest ally. And there's 4 components to have a mind so strong it scares people, and it is tolerance, fortitude, resilience, adaptability. My name's Val. I've been playing tennis for 15 years, recently graduated playing D1 tennis, and I coach a lot of players. And this lesson is obviously for the tennis court, but can also be applicable outside the court as a human being trying to achieve any goal in life. And I coach a lot of players, and I don't mean just like kids or juniors, I mean full grown adults. And a lot of them hit beautiful, but when things start going not in their favor, they start going crazy. It doesn't matter how much strategy you give them in that moment because they're just like emotional. And tennis is very emotional, but when we let our emotions change our behavior, that's when we begin to lose. So this video is about breaking the emotion to behavior chain so we can follow the plan regardless of how we feel. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Someone might cheat you on a call with a shot, you might double fault for set point, or you might hit a super easy volley winner at the net out wide. So our goal is to avoid letting one bad point affect us and allow us to lose the next 10 because we're emotional. Talk about mental toughness. If you're anything like me, you kind of have an idea what that means, but no one's given you a clear definition of what that actually means. And it's when bad things happen, how does our behavior change as a result of it? And I'll give you a quick story. So my college coach was awesome. He would wear this anti-fragile shirt to practice some days where I would get emotional, believe it or not, and lose my shit. And he'd be like, Val, be mentally tough. And I had an understanding of what that meant, but I'd be like, what does that actually mean? Do I yell louder? Do I bottle up my emotions and be stone cold? Like, what does that mean? Behaviorally, what does that even mean? I'm gonna share with you a framework. This is what it looks like, and it all starts with whatever bad thing happens, how you react to it in terms of how much has to happen before you break, and when you do break, how bad and steep is that break, and how long does it take you after that break to recover? And when you do recover, are you better or worse for it? So we all stand somewhere between the spectrum of being very mentally strong or not as mentally strong. So our first component is tolerance. And this means how much can you handle before you snap? So a mentally strong person can face many adversity. The person that sits on the other end of that spectrum might have one inconvenience happen and they already lose their mind. They start slamming their rackets. They start insulting themselves like, you suck at tennis. That is what tolerance means. Our second component is fortitude. It means how much in steepness does your behavior change? So let's say these inconveniences happen and you snap. Is your snap as simple as you take a deep breath, maybe you walk out for 5 minutes and then you come back and you're ready to go? Or does it mean that you literally break your racket? You might even quit your job, get divorced, and get into drugs. Like, how bad is that steepness? Our third component is resilience. So after bad thing happens and you snap, how long does it take you to get back into action? Again, do you just simply need to walk out for 5 minutes and come back and you're ready to go? Or does it take you 5 years? So how much time in between does it take for you to come back? Our fourth component is adaptability. Anytime something happens, we can either get better from it, stay the same, or get worse. When we get better from it, it's because we ask the question, how can this serve me? Something just didn't go the way you wanted to and you lose a match, but you might have another one. And in between those 2 matches, you ask yourself the question, how does this serve me? You can take this awful tragedy and get a very juicy lesson from it, because our greatest growths in life tend to happen after adversity. So that is how someone can have bad thing happen to them and come out stronger for it. The other thing that can happen is bad thing happens and you just come back the same. You might not lose your shit, but you might not take a big fat juicy lesson from it, and that's cool, right? It's much better than the last one, which is bad thing happens to us and we forever are changed in a negative way. Those are the 4 components to have a mind so strong that it scares people, and how it applies to tennis. This is, again, very, very applicable to our real life outside the court. And I'll give you a quick short story. The worst moment for me in college tennis was when we played a team who on paper wasn't as good as us. And basically, if you don't know how college tennis works, there's a doubles point and 6 singles points. We won the doubles point and we were all leading on singles, and for out of nowhere, 3 singles drop and the other 2 singles win, so it's 3-3. It is tied, and it all comes down to my match. And to give you context, I won my first set 6-1. I was up 4-0, and I look around me and everyone's watching, and I'm like, holy cow, this is my time to be a hero. And you know what happens? The worst nightmare happens. I get nervous, I lose my momentum, the other player starts, making more balls in, and my nervousness, I just lose my shit. Long story short, I lose the tiebreaker, and I lose the match and the whole team loses. And it's honestly the worst feeling ever, and I could have honestly just stopped playing tennis right there. It was so sad. But it's something that I never forgot. It's something that bad thing happened, and I chose to be better for it because I asked myself the question, how does this serve me? And I know it's a silly example, but it's very real. This happens to us whether we're playing at a very high level or just going to clinics. I hope this lesson was helpful. Again, I never had a clear definition of what mental toughness was, and it's when bad things happen, how does our behavior change as a result of it? And this framework allows you to see the 4 components, how that actually objectively looks. I hope you guys have a phenomenal day and stay amazing. Bye.